Alright, I'm going to play some guitar and I'm going to watch some news. Probably make some comments. It's a lot about the war in Ukraine. Oh, and the State of the Union. That's right. I watched about half of the State of the Union. I hope he's right, but I don't know if that's... I can't confirm that. Or actually, I shouldn't say I hope he's right. I don't care if he's right.
Do you think you're wasting your time, or do you think they're ready? We'll see.
Hello and welcome to
Hope for his sake he's right.
In the United States and all around the world, I'm Michael Holmes, coming to you live from Lviv in western Ukraine, where we are following the breaking news coverage of the Russian invasion of the...
What's up, Holmes?
And I'm Edith Suarez in London, to bring you highlights from US President Joe Biden's State of the Union address, where he pledged to save democracy in Ukraine and pictured the next agenda.
Issa is back. Large explosions rattled Ukrainian city of Kharkiv.
Rocking Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, near the Russian border, and more have been reported since, the latest targeting a university and a regional police department. You can see Kharkiv looks like
a lot of destruction.
War zone now, wreckage and rubble on both sides.
I think there's three main cities there. There's Lviv in the west, Kiev in the middle, or Kyiv, and then Kharkiv in the east. There's Kherson. But it's a big country. You've got a lot of cities there.
Now, President Joe Biden promising Western allies will keep punishing Russia and President Vladimir Putin.
It's going to be real strange. Because the more that they punish them, the angrier they're going to get. Their Prime Minister Medvedev warned people on Twitter about this economic sanctions being equivalent to a war. I think people should listen to these people. They're talking past each other.
To his menacing ways, but he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined.
I don't believe that.
Ukrainian people.
I don't believe that in the slightest.
He thought he could divide us at home.
What a joke.
In this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been. He has no idea what's coming.
Yikes.
Now, part of that so-called wall of strength, the Ukrainian people.
Putin really does have dozens of billions of dollars, and this isn't the end for him.
Incredible bravery. Meanwhile, Kyiv is still bracing for a Russian onslaught. A TV tower was hit on Tuesday. The Russian Defense Ministry acknowledging a short while ago that it is indeed targeting Ukraine's communications infrastructure. Several apartment blocks outside the capital also hit hard. Ukraine's president not backing down in the face.
They said that the soldiers that were the Russian soldiers that were there first said that they didn't even realize they were going to invade the place, and they're conscripts. So Putin clearly sent his B team to soften the place up and to look like a bunch of pushovers, but he probably knew that would inspire some hope and this kind of language. And now the real team's coming. The A team is on their way, I think, with all 40 miles of tanks and equipment.
This powerful issue of closing the airspace helps us tremendously.
The more they sanction them, the angrier they'll get. And if they're able to recruit other people, other countries, to pay other militaries,
this was done by Russia.
This is just the beginning.
There is a full-scale war happening, and everyone thinks it will be over fast. We spoke many times with President Biden, and I am thankful to him for these opportunities and support. But they also did not hear me. I've been telling them that Ukraine will fight hardest of all. You will see. But us alone against Russia, we would not be able to do it.
Joining me now is Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of Kyiv, and Mr. Mayor, appreciate you taking the time. First of all, give us a sense of the situation in your city right now and what you might expect in the days ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's not secret, the target of Russians.
Vitaly Klitschko,
And right now
Kiev, Ukraine
we
mayor.
see how many Russian forces go from Belarus.
They showed a guy from Texas that the Russians let fight with them.
A lot of
That was pretty interesting.
miles,
Apparently, I didn't see him fighting, I saw him talking.
tanks.
He looked like he was definitely overweight, maybe obese, and probably in his 40s or so. And he was talking smack. Maybe he's Russian or something, American Russian. He was speaking good English. I hope the people in Ukraine are okay.
I guess it's symbolic. It's last day in independence, largest, biggest square in Europe with the name of Freedom Square.
We should look real closely to see if these countries that are supporting Ukraine suddenly have some problems. Because it's pretty silly to think that Russia and Russia's allies are not going to fight back against these European countries that are giving Ukraine money and support. And we may not see how they fight back.
Much more difficult. A lot of people already moved from Kyiv. Whole infrastructure right now in our city, I mean electricity, heating, and water. We're doing everything for that to deliver service for citizens because Kyiv switch off the electricity or heating is
Imagine somebody that exalts himself over every god, stepping up and saving the planet.
You mentioned that Ukrainian forces are prepared to defend the city. Of course they are. They have the advantage of knowing the city better than the enemy does. How do you expect, if there is a fight, for it to develop?
To be honest, as sportsman, I have a lot of experience. Before I viewed as man from the walls, I travel around.
Christians have been imagining it for a long time. Let's see,
Right
a
now,
lot of the
I
Christian prophecies,
very proud.
Christians don't really understand.
I am very proud to be Ukrainian. You know why? Because huge character, the will show every Ukrainian soldier.
And they could be thinking that somebody could be doing
one of the strongest armies
fulfilling prophecy and being a villain, when in reality they're fulfilling prophecy and being a hero.
But the will
Inadvertently or purposely, who knows?
is main priority for us, and we defend.
I'm going to watch the Catholic Church real closely too, and the Pope, to see what they do, if anything.
And our future. We're fighting for all democratic law.
As far as I know, the Pope just went to the Russian embassy in Rome, in Italy there,
Without you, this will be difficult to survive.
and asked them to stop fighting. That's all I've heard them do.
You mentioned a lot of people have left the city. That is true. Do you expect shortages of food?
I'm wondering
and
how
medicine
much
and
of
other things? What is
Zelensky's
the
playbook is just handed to him by his political party, or even the Democrats. Because sometimes these politicians just look like they're following a script, when it comes to Twitter and when it comes to interviews and actions. Looks like they're being controlled by somebody else.
Everything what we need to give, and I hope we actually starting to become to receive the food, everything what we need, we have actually right now. We need more, but the rest in the way to Kyiv. We definitely make information to all our friends if something what they need. We need right now more hard sanction against Russia.
Because corporations are driving this world into the ground.
Because
You know, I found some statistics about how much gasoline that the world burns every day, and it's off the chart. It's like 93 million barrels a day is what the... And you don't have to be a genius to figure out that that's going to cause some problems sooner than later. But we still have people that don't even talk about it, don't even think about it, just look the other way. And then we've got some people that are just, climate activists and stuff that are pooping their pants and that are going crazy. Saying we're killing the world, this is it, it's over.
It's a huge patriotic movement right now. The old people.
I'm ready to go back outside.
Doctors, actors from theater, the many professions, they never have expectation to fight, to keep the weapons, but right now they coming to us and ask about the weapons. They ready to fight. It's amazing. It's amazing. Whole city, the whole city. Some people, women, old people, children moved, and men stay in the city, and we expect huge fight. But we fighting our families, and that is our home.
Well, the world is watching, and
When Zelensky was talking about some stray bomb or missile hitting a Holocaust memorial, it made me start thinking about him. Somebody's pulling his strings,
Thank you very much for the help.
because I think some people are helping him talk to the public about things that certain people don't like and certain people will get riled up about. And that's one of them. I mean, this is war. If a missile hits a gravesite, just be happy it doesn't hit a living being. By the time this is all said and done, Ukraine could be flattened. Everybody could be dead. And so maybe you should pick your battles. They're still treating this kind of like a joke. These guys could even be Russia's C team. They could just be putting in their B team right now.
They don't look like they're very dirty. They actually look like they're coming from direction into that
CNN witnesses Russian military convoy moving near Belgorod.
the front line. Now, whether or not that means there's any shortages here, or whether or not those are donations on top of what the Russian military is bringing anyway, is really very difficult for us to see, but certainly something
Fred
that we
Pleitgen.
can take note of, especially in light of what the U.S.
Yeah, I'd never seen anything like this. And the guy Hemmer on the Fox confirmed it. What I saw Russian vehicles moving one direction on a 2-lane road, 4 vehicles wide. 4 vehicles wide. Can you imagine that? That means that they were driving on both lanes and on both shoulders.
We have seen at various times weapons being moved towards the front line. And then
I also heard just once, and not much about it, that 800 some odd Russian vehicle casualties occurred in another convoy somewhere. I'm going to have to look up that because I only heard it once somewhere. But that's pretty serious. And it made me realize that they're like a big giant wick, if you think about it. I mean, they're not going to let one vehicle get blown up and cause a chain reaction, but if they had a bomber or a plane or just somebody to try to take them out, it would just be a straight line pretty much. But they probably have some cover and some anti-aircraft weapons and things.
All right, good to have the update there. Fred White in Belgorod in Russia. Thank you so much. Fighting in Ukraine killed at least 136 people, according to the UN. The actual death toll also is likely much higher from these attacks as they continue to intensify.
For whatever reason, there haven't been airplanes flying around dropping bombs that I've seen. I don't know why they're preferring the land battle so much. Usually land battles cause more casualties. At least, you know, your own casualties. Usually you wouldn't use planes if you want to reduce civilian casualties.
On the road to Ukraine's border with Poland. At one of the border crossings, it's a parallel story of
But the longer that this goes on, the longer they wait, the longer civilians are going to get out of town, and then you're not going to have to worry about civilian casualties.
To their husbands, fathers, sons, men aged 18 to 60.
And that's not a good sign. You know, this is just getting started. It's just picking up. People are leaving now. They're showing people getting out of there now. Families fleeing Ukraine separated at the border. Ukrainian men ages 18 to 60 aren't allowed to leave the country. Which I question because I see them in line right now. Non-Ukrainians stuck in limbo at Ukraine's border. Okay, maybe these are non-Ukrainians in Ukraine.
Angry, delirious, cold, weak. They said they walked.
Somebody said, it's good that CNN mentioned that. Somebody said it was wrong to make them stay in the country to fight.
This is the fourth time you are
But I have to look up Ukraine's laws. I don't know if it's illegal in Ukraine. Some countries have mandatory military service, and they've got to serve in the military for a couple of years. And they got to, it's like a draft, they got to be called up and they got to fight if there's a war. That's how it goes in their country.
They've all been on the road for 4 days, back and forth from border crossings. His aunt's arms are aching from
I mean, I don't know what they would do if somebody wants to leave
the day before Russia
or just refuses to fight.
Stay at the night in the border.
This is Arwa Damon. She's there. She's all over the place.
Another night in sub-zero temperatures is not something they think they can survive.
Wow, sub-zero temperatures.
How long have you been waiting?
I've slept outside in 40-degree temperatures, and that's very cold,
And you? 40.
in my opinion.
Right here.
Sub-zero temperatures is unbelievable. You're not going to be able to get warm if you get cold. And you need very, very warm equipment. And then you need to shower because you're going to end up sweating.
Who can come to terms with how quickly, how violently all they knew to be real and safe was ripped away. Elena is from
You got
Vietnam,
wipes,
married to Yuri
something.
from Ukraine. They are directed over to the Ukrainian line.
You're going to have to stay here.
Yes, I will stay.
We have made this decision just this morning because I want to stay like a little longer to wait to see what's going on next.
How are you explaining this
This
to
is
the children?
a family that looks like it's an Asian woman and a white guy. And he's saying he's taking his family to the border and then he's coming back to fight. Which maybe he will, maybe he won't.
What is the worry? Hi. Yeah. Did you make it?
I want to cross.
baby needs a document. Everyone's got documents except for the baby, and they want the baby cross.
They used a Ukrainian surrogate
That
to
doesn't sound
carry
right.
their twins.
She looks tired.
Given just how cold and horrendous the temperatures were overnight, and then we got here and the line had disappeared. All of those who we had met who had been waiting for days had somehow finally been able to make it across. The question is,
Awesome.
why? What changed that allowed them to be processed this quickly, and why was that change not implemented sooner? Why did they have to suffer this much? We're trying to get answers to
She
that.
should have stayed there with them, or somebody should.
The Ukrainian side, they're saying that the problem was on the Polish side, and vice versa. But either way, right now, finally, all of those men who we met out here who were freezing cold have finally been able to get across. But again, at the core of this is, why did they have to suffer
Shehen
this much?
Ukraine. Shehen.
That is at the core of it, and it's an important aspect of this story that needed to be told, and thanks for doing so, our Damon there at the Ukrainian-Polish border.
I follow her on Twitter.
Peter Zamayev is director of the Eurasia Democracy.
As a journalist, I'd like to go there to cover this.
Is a Ukrainian political analyst. They join me now from Kyiv.
I was reading one journalist that was pissed because he said nobody was paying him money to cover it. And he was saying he's sick of going on shows for free. He's not doing it anymore. If we don't see him anymore, it's because they're not paying him. And he's an African American guy. It looks like maybe an American. That's over there.
An effort by local citizens to provide to conscripted soldiers who actually have been just called and drafted. And this is what you're seeing all over Ukraine, a massive outpouring of support for the troops.
I wouldn't mind trying to do freelance work, writing a book, just hanging on to stories. Not really going there for the money, but for the experience.
Taken against Russia, they fear for you to Switzerland all of a sudden decided to witness neutrality when it comes to Russia and join the sanctions regime. Germany, the best Germany, several decades long father decided to provide weapons to Ukraine. Earth-gathering in the situation. The EU is now considering emergency procedures to grant Ukraine membership in the Union.
Well, if they're taking this long to lay siege to the capital, then they may be really trying hard to not have too many casualties. Because this gigantic of a troop buildup to go in there and to take over Kiev, I don't know if, that's probably the point. It might be the point for them to go in and hope people surrender and hope they don't put up much of a fight so they can take over the government.
Clarence, I want to ask you this. There is every indication the Russians are planning to attack Kyiv, perhaps in the next few days. What are your fears and expectations?
Let's not call it Kyiv. Everybody calls it Kyiv. I called it Kiev first half of my life because that's what people used to call it. I shouldn't say the first half of my life. I could live forever for all I know. I don't plan on dying. I don't think they're trying to hit civilians. If they are trying to hit a civilian area, they might be looking for somebody, or it might be an accident. I see a civilian building right there behind them. These people all seem to be safe. You know, this guy, these are Ukrainian analysts or something. They look like they're living on this out there in the street with these people.
Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Nina's on live. Taras Berezovic, safe travel, and let's connect again in the next day or so as you continue your journey. Our thoughts are with you. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm Michael Holmes in Lviv. We will have much more ahead on the war in Ukraine. As far as in London,
Thanks very much, Michael. Coming up, while confronting the crisis in Ukraine and challenges at home, President Biden still strikes an optimistic note.
The State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong.
That's a good line. Yeah, Americans are unique. I lived in the U.S. my entire life, but I've been to a few other countries. Been to Mexico, Israel, Greece, UK, Ireland, Canada. Oh yeah, Americans are very special people. It's one unique thing about the United States is the mixture of people. I think most countries have a dominant people that's kind of the vast majority is one type of person, and the U.S. is a melting pot of people from all over the world. And I think that's been increasingly happening. So.
They have both failed American people on the border.
I'm not interested to hear Fox News talk to me about the border. I don't know if these people understand how they come across and what their deal is. If these people love people at the border, then they need to go there and fix it and stop talking about it. Because they don't seem loving here. They seem hateful. They seem like they hate the government. They seem like they hate the people trying to cross. They seem like they hate everybody, frankly. See, I was born and raised in a border city near the Mexican border. So I've heard stories my entire life about how dangerous it is down in Mexico, and about drug trafficking and human trafficking, all that. And I've been to Mexico many times, and I've never been in danger. I can ramble off, a half dozen cities, towns that I've been to in Mexico, and I was fine. I even got pulled over by federales, dressed all in black with machine guns, and I was okay. They let me go. And I got detained by the police in Tijuana one time, and they let me go. Mexico is not dangerous like they say. If you're going to do something illegal down there, it might be dangerous. But as a white American that visited Mexico a couple dozen times, I was always perfectly fine. I did 2 50-mile bike rides there, from Rosarito to Ensenada, and drove all the way to La Paz. I used to go to Tijuana when I was about 16 years old with my friends. We'd go to clubs and things. Some people go there for cigarettes. Some people go there for surgeries and medicines. My former wife got a nose job in Tijuana, and it was cheap. So it really upsets me when I hear these morons try to say weird stuff about the border, and also when they try to throw Kamala Harris under the bus. In fact, they just did. They call her the border czar and say she's failed. And it's just pathetic. It's just a pathetic attack. Totally unnecessary, totally unproductive.
Unpremeditated invasion.
Totally loveless.
Lawmakers in a bipartisan standing ovation, you can hear that, in support of Ukraine and its ambassador and the First Lady's boss. Then Mr. Biden pivoted.
I finally described it this way today when I was talking to somebody on Twitter. I was saying both Republicans and Democrats are equally to blame for the border issues, and neither of them want to solve it, and they both rather just blame each other for it. And they're both to blame because there's Republican and Democrat mayors and governors that are in the border states, bordering Mexico, and it's been that way for decades, off and on, Republicans and Democrats, Republican and Democrat presidents, and nobody's fixed it. Nobody's perfected it. So they either can't or they won't. I don't really care about the rationale or the grandstanding.
College of London. Thomas, very good morning to you. And as we just heard there from the small clip, the president's focus was clearly framed around his biggest foreign policy crisis, and that is, of course, Ukraine. But he also addressed some key concerns and key worries. Do you think he gives the right notes, the right balance?
I wouldn't doubt if each political party benefits from certain border crossings, whether it's by serendipity or purposefully, how immigrants come up through Mexico and then end up voting Democrat or voting Republican. I think depending on who's in office and which place they cross, there's benefits to both of the political parties from the instability and the problems on the border. So neither of them fix it. And both of them just blame each other. But mainly it's the Republicans blaming people. Like children. Sometimes rich people really do lose touch of reality and can't talk to normal people very well.
Which is always a hard thing to do. But let's put domestic for one side for a second, Thomas. But on Ukraine, we heard, I think it's fair to say, a really cutting condemnation of President Putin, saying his actions were unprovoked and premeditated. Do you think that he went far enough? Because this is a speech, of course, for many audiences here.
Well, I think his words were quite strong. Biden's comments on Ukraine were probably the most politically consequential of the evening. And according to recent polling, a lot of Americans are skeptical. About 33% of U.S. citizens approve of Biden's handling of the conflict today. So Biden really needed...
I think it was premeditated, yeah, because what's not premeditated? Could they ever move tanks or things into Ukraine if it wasn't premeditated? Yeah, they planned it and then they did it, so that's obvious. Now with unprovoked, that's kind of debatable. China and Russia cite NATO expansion as a provocation. So, it's pretty tone deaf. It's not taking Russia's concerns into consideration. Part of the root of the problem is that they don't have any vision for their enemies, the people they don't like. They only want to succeed. Their enemies, whoever they don't like, can just die as far as they're concerned. They have no plan to rehabilitate them, to change them, to deal with them, to help them. That's why we don't have a peace agreement with North Korea. That's why there's just an armistice there. Decades and decades and decades we don't have peace with them because they have no vision whatsoever for that country.
At the same time, there were kind of specifics of his plan, besides the standard Democratic price controls on prescription drugs
Iran's the same way. You know, Iran wants to make nukes, but not for weapons, for energy and medical research and stuff. So why not hold their hand, put up a solid U.S. presence there and say, have at it, we're going to watch it, make sure it goes like you say. And for all I care, every single, they could be the most amazing nuke-powered country on the planet with breakthroughs and technology. But no, it's more politically advantageous for these people to demonize Iran and assume that they're lying and tell them they're lying, have no vision for them, tell them that they can't create clean energy and that they're going to pollute. And if they don't like it, too bad. They treat homeless people and Iran the same way. You can either pollute with us or you can just go die.
Levine or Mike Tobin has the breaking developments from overnight. Mike.
Well, Todd, I can tell you there is no waning in the desire of the Ukrainian people to join the fight, to pick up a weapon. Every time a fresh delivery of AK-47s arrives in town, and word gets out for volunteers, they line up around the block to pick up their weapons. Particular emphasis is placed on retired military to join the fight. And keep in mind, President Zelensky offered amnesty to prisoners who would join the fight, especially if they go in the most violent areas. The people who can't join the fight are joining the resistance by providing materials and make camouflage netting. We caught up with one group in a warehouse district of town making Molotov cocktails. They take old liquor bottles, fill it up with petroleum. They actually put soap shavings in there. That makes the fuel turn into a jelly so it will stick on whatever it hits. It is the year 2022. They're fighting one of the most sophisticated armies in the world with firebombs, and they're quite willing to do it.
Volunteers line up for guns and prepare to fight.
Now, as the Russians have increased the intensity of their offensive, you can go look really anywhere in the country and get some dramatic pictures. In this case, Kharkiv, where the police headquarters took a direct hit. There was a subsequent fire in that particular building. No word on casualties, and something else we know about Kharkiv. Through a number of different channels, the Russian paratroopers have now taken up position there. And that is a position to the eastern part of the country, very near the border with Russia. You can see it's one of the places where the Russians have taken a foothold.
Ukraine's got a lot of history. Perhaps they don't want to destroy these historical buildings and they don't want to flatten the place and start over from scratch. That's how it's looking so far. Yeah, there's been some damage, but
I don't want to run
not a
away
lot.
from my home. If I run away, the Russians will just...
This woman's not in a Olena Ness, G-N-E-S. They just said she's in a bomb shelter, and again, this is the woman that said yesterday she's not in a bomb shelter. She said she's in a building in the basement, and if there's a direct hit, that they'll all die. She said she had food for 2 or 3 days. She said it could save her from a small explosion outside or something. That's about it. So I'm not going to watch that channel right now.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Michael Holmes in Lviv, Ukraine. U.S. President Joe Biden says the response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine shows how badly Vladimir Putin is calculated, but that is not stopping Moscow from pressing on with its onslaught on multiple fronts. Ukraine says a battle is raging right now for control of the southern port city of Kherson, that is denying Moscow's claims that it has already been captured. Meanwhile, fighting intensifying in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second largest city. This was seen a short time ago. Large explosion at Kharkiv National University and the regional police department. Ukrainian officials say it was hit by a missile strike. The UN's refugee agency says the exodus of people fleeing this country could become Europe's largest refugee crisis of the century. Nearly 680,000 people have already fled to neighbouring countries, including to Romania, where Romania disrupt 20 hours right across the border. Officials say this humanitarian crisis is only going to get worse. Joining me now from the Romania-Ukraine border is Sabrina Preda. She is an anchor for CNN Australia and NR3 Network, and I'm good to have you with us. Just give me a sense of what you were seeing on the ground there and what people are telling you as they cross over from Ukraine.
Well, Michael, it's really hard to explain in words the situation here at the cross-border.
Sabrina Preda,
With so many the people, as
Antenna
you can
3A.
see in the images, so many people who are trying to get in a safe place. They are telling us that they are desperate, they are scared, and
They said over
that's
600,000
why
refugees
they
so
are
far have
shocked.
left.
You can see in the images that there are so many trucks and cars that they are waiting to go by ferry in Romania. Also, my colleague Mihai will show you just in a second that we have here an ambulance for anyone who needs support, and also tents for those who need medical consultation too. You can see the line in this moment. It's a line of 10 kilometers, and the people are waiting here even 24 hours to enter in the country. And I have for you the last
677,000 people fled so far. Many are fleeing to Poland, Hungary, Moldova, Romania, Slovakia.
Refugees that entered in Romania to all the cross borders, and more than half of them already went in other countries. So just maybe 15,000 remain in Romania.
I want to ask you, what kind of assistance does Romania have in place there?
I was saying earlier, maybe this has something to do with Zelensky being a liberal Jew. You know, I'm not sure.
Michael, I'm happy that you asked me this because here, the authorities
You know, the conservatives have a strange relationship with the Jews.
receive all these refugees and make them feel like
And the
home. They give them
liberal Jews and conservative Jews do not get along too well because they have opposite politics. You have somebody like Ben Shapiro is a conservative Jew, and then somebody like Jimmy Kimmel is a liberal Jew, for instance, just as an example. And so this guy Zelensky is a liberal Jew, and Russia's a more conservative country. So they may look at him as a bad person for several reasons.
Because they didn't left in Ukraine just their homes.
And if there's other people that are sick of liberal Jews, they may hop on board here.
Their dads, their uncles, and their brothers. And one day they hope to be reunited in a Ukraine without war in safe place. Michael?
But as we can see, a lot of the world is siding with Ukraine and against Russia and with the West. I've not seen a list of companies that haven't lifted a finger, but I'm sure there is one though too. A list of airlines, companies, things like that. I haven't heard Microsoft doing anything, or Google. Actually, I did hear about Google. Google Maps disabled Google Maps in Ukraine to prevent Russians from seeing it where people are so they could attack. They said they kept the turn-by-turn working there for people in the country in case they're driving or something. But like you can no longer use the Google Maps there. And Google is owned by Jews, or was founded by Jews, liberal Jews. And so I haven't heard Microsoft doing anything, which is the Android software. But most people aren't hostile to Jews in the U.S. It's just real strange to see the conservative Jews in the Republican Party lashing out against liberal Jews. It's pretty weird. But they do it back and forth, back and forth. They may try to set their sights on other people, but I see it all the time. I don't know if that's what this is coming to. I don't think Jews have much influence in China, but I don't know if China has any issues. Although I think China is a non-religious country, and they may have issues with religious countries or religious people in general. Russia is a pretty mixed country. I think they have some atheists, but I think they also have some Eastern Orthodox Christians too, and Catholics. And some Jews, but I'd have to look up and see how many. Probably not too many. Probably not too many influential Jews in Russia or China. I don't think people are taught everything that Hitler wanted to do and his beliefs on everything. They just are taught that he killed millions of Jews, pretty much. But they never really say why. I heard a story about when he was a little kid that a Jewish kid did something bad to him and he was upset about it and he held the grudge until he became older. I don't know if that's true. But I don't know if I've heard anything about religion. I don't know what Russia or Vladimir Putin in particular thinks about Judaism or... Sometimes these countries tend to hate people that won't integrate, like China and the Uyghurs, and the Jews typically stay together and they historically marry each other. And so some countries want people to integrate or they get upset.
Shouldn't be really a cause for concern. It comes as the Dow plunging 600 points on Tuesday as the price of US oil topped $102 a barrel for the first time since 2014. But US gas prices have been slowly rising over the past year. Look at this. According to AAA, the average price for 1 gallon of gasoline in the US is nearly $1 more than the same time last year. Meantime, the list of companies pulling out of Russia's growth.
It's pretty weird seeing the average price of gas per gallon because there's 50 countries and 50 states rather. Business back out Ukraine invasion. Oh my God, they just showed like maybe 20 some odd businesses that were against Russia, and they showed it for like 5 seconds or less than, probably 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I did see Google on the list, but they took it off the screen so fast I couldn't see it.
Sounds like up for 60, sounds like a lot. The world can get through that in 16 hours. The world consumes 100 million barrels a day.
Exactly.
Now, there's a lot of focus on OPEC as well.
That seemed ridiculous. Biden was saying he's taking 60 million barrels out of the reserve or something. Them and their allies? I didn't totally catch that when you said it. But I know that the U.S. has a 5 million barrel a day deficit between what it produces and uses, so 60 million barrels is only going to last you 12 days.
Yeah, you can see that Brent was up above 113, WTI was up above 111, so multi-year.
U.S. releasing 30 million barrels of oil to stave off price hikes. Okay. So maybe it was 30 from U.S., 30 from its allies. So that's 6 days. You can supplement the oil that the U.S. pulls out of the ground for 6 days with that. And there's 35 billion barrels in the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So 30 million is just a very small fraction. Apple suspends all product sales in Russia. There was a time when I didn't use any Apple products. I was raised on the first computers, like the Texas Instruments TI-99-4A, and then I went on to PCs. And I didn't use Apples until the iPhone came out, and then I didn't buy the first iPhone. My dad helped found a computer college, and he knew about technology and stuff, and our philosophy was that we should let the first one work out the bugs and stuff, and maybe get the second one or the third one, you know. And another good rule of thumb when you're buying technology is if you ever get after a brand new release comes out, if you get the one before that, it's usually a lot cheaper. So anyway, I got an iPhone. That was the first Apple product I got, and I liked it. It was cool. I used to jailbreak them before they had video capability, because they had a camera but they couldn't record videos. So I did it for me, and I did it for a bunch of other people too. Download Cydia and the jailbreak and the unlocking to use it on any carrier. And then after my mom passed away in 2017, my dad gave me her iPad. So I'm on my second iPad now. And iPads are pretty rad. I know coding, HTML, JavaScript, PHP, that kind of stuff, web design, and I can do pretty much everything that I need and want to do on a PC on an iPad with FTP and external keyboard and coding and so on and so forth. Let's see if Fox is not too crazy.
Accidents.
Mom of killed 6-month-old questions Biden's agenda. No thanks. Not seeing this. So, apparently Fox News is going to use today to try to say how terrible Joe Biden is, because he just gave his State of the Union speech yesterday. So I already have my opinion of the man, and I don't need to be influenced. I see very clearly what he's doing, what he hasn't done, and I know what he should do and what he needs to do. I don't need Fox News. That sounds like Forensic Files. I thought it was pretty telling and interesting that they had a lawsuit against Fox, and their defense was that no reasonable person would take us seriously and think we're telling the truth. And it was in reference to Tucker Carlson's show, and that's how they got off. So ever since then, I guess we got to put Fox in the fiction department. And if they report the news, then that's great. But sometimes they make stuff up, or exaggerate, or lie, or deceive.
Svitolina is the top seed in the Monterrey Open and won her first match, ironically, against a Russian player on Tuesday. Svitolina originally said she would refuse to play against any Russian player. The 27-year-old said this match was a memorable spot for her.
I was just focused from the beginning. For me, it was very important to be ready for anything that comes my way.
Ukrainian tennis star pledges prize money to Ukrainian army.
Starting well, I think I started really good today. And in general, now I was just focused on this, on the mission for my country.
worshippers gathered at a church to light candles to the Archbishop.
Vigil held in France in support of Ukraine.
Ukrainian peace would be protected and for the suffering.
Some religious building?
I want to leave you with some images that went viral for all the right reasons. Joe Biden hugging the Ukrainian ambassador at the State of the Union. And if you look closely, you can see the First Lady showing her support. In the center lane, a sunflower on Ukraine was embroidered onto the top of a blue silk dress. The yellow was the colors of the Ukrainian flag, symbol of solidarity with the love.
Some liberals and Democrats and maybe people from other countries come to the
Our breaking news coverage of the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues on your day with Brianna Keeler. I'm John Berman. You stay right here.
Jim Berman. Oops. Jim Berman. Guy's John Berman. Anyways. Yeah, I think some people just vote Democrat because they're liberals and they just know they're not conservative. They know they're not Republicans and they just hope for the best. They don't totally agree with the Democrats. And they don't, but they think this is it. This is the best we can do. And I'm a little different. I'm an independent. I think some of my viewpoints are conservative, some are liberal, some are more libertarian. And I just vote on the issues, and I vote for the best person for the job. I don't care which political party they're in or if they're in no party at all. Some elections in the U.S., they forbid people to advertise which political party they're in. And usually it's local elections like mayoral races or different things like that. When you look on the ballot, when you vote, if it's a senator or a president or something, it says their political party, Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Libertarian Party, whatever. But they must have some laws in some states and cities where, some local elections, that's not an issue. And they won't let people stick it on the ballot. That doesn't mean they're not in a political party, but that just means that it's not widely known which one they're in. They don't advertise it. I think the U.S. could really benefit from a real strong third political party. The yin and yang of Republicans and Democrats is one thing, and it's probably better than just having one of them, but it's probably worse than having three parties. But the third strongest political party in the U.S. is still awfully weak compared to those two. But sometimes you'll get somebody that will get elected in a political party and then they'll become independent or they'll change. Or they're independent and then they join a political party to get elected. And then you just know that they're still probably pretty independent. I think people like Rand Paul and Bernie Sanders, maybe AOC and the Squad, I don't think they all fall into Republican and Democrat parties. But I think that they're with them to get elected, and it's close to what they think and believe. All right, well, I'm going to cut this now. Good luck. Take care of yourself.